now it's time to talk about Week 8. We finally got through Week 7, the apocalypse of buys, and it was honestly a major boom of busts, if that even a sentence. It was just a major bust of blowouts that nobody will remember, and it's likely a week to forget. So, fortunately, this is a Week 8 that's more forgiving. The Ravens and the Raiders are the only two teams on bye this week, and the action looks to bounce back with a better slate of games on paper. The Thursday night game, unfortunately, is not a good start, though, but we'll get into that in a bit. I will say, though, that there are a couple of critical division games on the docket that people should keep in mind for this coming week. And a couple of the games involve more teams that are either mediocre or it's just not exciting. But there are some games that could have potential playoff implications going forward. So let's get into this week that is probably like a much more like divisional, like kind of like a divisional like week, because you got at least 3 to 5 games that involve divisional matchups. So let's start with the Thursday night game between the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals, who remain undefeated at 7-0. The Cardinals, I think, are likely going to have easy pickings over Aaron Rodgers in the pack. That is because the Packers are going to be without Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard because they were put on the COVID reserve list, and they will not be playing in the Thursday night matchup. So it's going to be a lot of Aaron Jones, and if Aaron Rodgers trusts them enough, a lot of Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Robert Tonyan. And it's going to be interesting how the Packers handle that, but nonetheless, I think the Cardinals, with their big load of offensive weaponry, they'll be able to take care of the Packers with ease and go to 8-0 as they reach the halfway point in the season. So now we get into the Sunday slate of games with the early morning portion. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to New York to take on the 1-5 New York Jets. I mean, it's no question that the Bengals are going to tear apart a Jets team that won't have Zach Wilson for a couple weeks. Mike White is going to be starting, and even then, Zach Wilson didn't do anything for the Jets under center, and yeah, there's no talent around him to help him. So overall, the Bengals are gonna have a feast on the Jets on Sunday. The Tennessee Titans battle the Indianapolis Colts in a big divisional rematch from Week 3, and both teams look a lot different than they did back then. Both teams have won 2 straight. However, the Titans have had the more convincing momentum, had the more convincing wins because they were against the 2 teams that faced each other in the AFC title match from last season. The Colts, meanwhile, have faced, 2 fluky teams in their 2-game winning streak. So I think that the Titans will continue to ride and die by Derrick Henry and hopefully get some, that same momentum from when they did last week from Ryan Tannehill. But I still think Tennessee will win this division matchup and sweep the Indianapolis Colts. And that'll prove critical when the division title stakes get much deeper into the season. The LA Rams travel to Houston to take on the Texans. And, it's pretty obvious the Rams are going to be next in line to completely manhandle the sad sack Texans team. No contest. And, yeah, the Rams are going to win this one. In another big divisional matchup, the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns. Both teams are well rested. The Browns had that mini bye following the Thursday night game. The Steelers are coming off their Week 7 bye, but the Browns are still reeling from their injuries to Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, and who knows if they're going to be passing the ball a lot more against a Steelers team, despite their own injuries and their out of sync offense. But I think the Steelers, with their terrible towels, should get out with the win over their rival. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions, the winless Detroit Lions. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to make a crazy bold pick and pick the Detroit Lions to win this game. I think this is a game tailor-made for them to win this game. The Eagles can't protect Jalen Hurts. They don't have the offensive line to protect them. And I know the Lions don't have a pass rush, but I mean the Eagles' offensive line is so bad that they can't protect Jalen Hurts. And even though the Lions don't have an elite receiving corps, all they have is T.J. Hawkinson and Jared Goff is butt cheeks. I think the Lions will have just enough. They'll make get just a tad bit more aggressive. Dan Campbell will hopefully get the best out of Jared Goff in this game to beat the Eagles. If the Lions somehow lose this game, then they're probably not going to be able to win any game this season. Like any game. Like, do they even play the Jaguars or the Texans at any point this season? Like, I don't know, but they do play the AFC North and the NFC, the division and the NFC West for the rest of the season. So, oh man, yeah, I don't see it happening. So the Lions gotta win. Like, if they want to get at least one win this season, they gotta win this game. So I'm gonna go bold and pick the Lions to win this. So my San Francisco 49ers travel to Chicago to play the Bears, to play some Bears football. So we're going to get a masterclass of that. And the 49ers actually have a chance to right the ship when they face a Bears team that won't have Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn in the Bears front four, because they're going to be out injured. And this is a chance for the Niners front four to generate pressure with Nick Bosa, D Ford, and in that front seven. And they can pretty much have their will against a Bears offensive line that can't protect Justin Fields. And if they can't do that, and if Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan can't also stay up the course and play up over the competition, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I think the seat will get even hotter for Shanahan, and it'll just be Trey Lance time once more in San Francisco. So hopefully the Niners take care of the Bears. And I'm still rolling with the 49ers. So then, down in Atlanta, the Carolina Panthers take on the Falcons. And the Falcons continue to find ways to win. They sometimes choke, but they're finding ways to win in their 3-game winning streak. Matt Ryan is still performing very well, and Kyle Pitts is having his breakout year. And they'll likely continue that success against a free-falling Panthers team. Sam Darnold is back to his old Jets form. The defense is not performing as well as they used to, and I think they're going to continue to struggle against a Falcons team that is kind of heating up a little bit. So they're technically not the worst team in the division anymore. And then in Orchard Park, the Buffalo Bills host the Miami Dolphins, and the Bills are coming off their bye week pretty pissed off from the heartbreaking loss to Tennessee 2 weeks ago. They had 2 weeks to let it settle in, and they're going to be out to take their frustration from it against a Dolphins team that can't protect Tua, and the Bills are well assured that. So the Bills are going to take care of business against the Dolphins and sweep that season series. So the New England Patriots in the afternoon slate take on the LA Chargers in honestly, this could be a pretty big matchup if the Patriots, pick things up. I mean, the Pats had a typical blast to the pass performance, but I don't think they'll have a repeat performance against the LA Chargers because, they played the Patriots played the Jets, and the LA Chargers are not the Jets. And Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Jared Cook, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen, and pretty much the entire Chargers team, they were pretty much limited the last time we saw them on the field against the Ravens, and they're probably looking real hard to bounce back from that game and take out all their anger onto a Patriots team that's still is up to snuff. I don't think that it was a real game, a real big performance for them. So I'm going with the Chargers on this what will be a pretty competitive game. And then down in Seattle, the Jacksonville Jaguars return from their bye to take on a pretty weird Seahawks team. And I'm going to go on another limb here. And I think the Jags, even though they don't have much support around Trevor Lawrence, I think they may do just enough to take care of a Seahawks team that still doesn't have Russell Wilson. And the offense is struggling mightily with Geno Smith. And while the secondary is still just as bad. So I think Lawrence and that Jags team, as long as they don't implode, they can get their second straight win and hand Seattle its fourth straight loss. So who knows? But I'm going to roll the dice and take the Jaguars. And then in the Mile High City, the Washington football team traveled to take on the Denver Broncos. And this might be Taylor Heineke's last chance to prove himself as Washington's starter, as he'll be play both a stingy Denver defense, and that's even without Von Miller, whether he plays on Sunday or not, and an offense that'll be getting Jerry Jeudy back from IR. Both teams' offenses are struggling at the moment, but I think with the return of Jerry Jeudy, Terry Bridgewater should be able to get this offense back in the rhythm on Sunday and get back in the win column. So I'm going with Denver. And in the other big division matchup of the week, the Tampa Bay Bucks, 6-1, take on the New Orleans Saints in a big NFC South matchup. This is a big matchup. Like, everyone in the NFC South is competing with another, but these are the teams that are in first and second place, and whoever wins will take possession. Well, not really. I don't know. I don't think they will. I don't think the Saints will take possession if they win, but who knows? Who knows? If they win a couple more games, maybe they will take first place. So even then, Tom Brady and the Bucks are riding high with their offense. Tom Brady is still performing at a crazy ass level. He's like that final boss in a video game that you just can't stop. And the Saints, even though they're 4-2, they're experiencing all the highs and lows of, the famous Jameis Winston experience. So even though they got injury riddled secondary, the Bucks offense, I think it'll just be simply too much for Jameis, Alvin Kamara, and all the Saints to overcome. So I'm gonna roll with Tampa. And then in the Sunday night football game, both the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings return from their byes as they both face each other in the Sunday night closer for week 8. I think Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins will continue their offensive success. I think this will be a not a big shootout, but I think they're going to try to outperform each other. I think just the Cowboys will be one step ahead of the Vikings because just the talent involved. So the Cowboys are going to win a close one over the Vikings. And then in the Monday Night Football closer, we're going to get another dud with the New York Giants taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. With all the injuries the Giants have, and I know Daniel Jones will probably try to do his best to dissect the very, very bad Chiefs secondary. I think the Chiefs offense will snap out of their skid momentarily and beat up on a bad Giants team. So I'm rolling with the Chiefs. So those are my picks in my preview for Week 8. What do y'all think? Let me know however you can.